guys? I'm Edwin,
And I'm Joseph.
and this is
Edwin and Joseph Talks. So, on today's episode, we're going to talk about Elon Musk. And recently, he had a convention type thing where he basically released that they're going to do a neurosensory computer that would be connected to AI. Now, with this, we've had the technology since the 50s. He's just improved on it a great deal. It's going to have a basically almost like a computer back behind the ear here, and then it has wires that are same size as your brain's nano receptacles and stuff in your brain that are going to be placed in different areas depending where you need them. Now, like I said, this technology has been here and they've improved upon it. With these advances, it unlocks a lot of stuff. A lot of that being, say you have a brain injury and for some reason you can't use your arm, your motor functioning skills, your talking, your speech, whatever it may be. I think at first they're going to target that to where it'll unlock that part of the brain and you'll be able to, use those functions again where you weren't able to.
which is pretty useful for those who suffer from, some type of paralysis or something like that.
Or cerebral palsy is a major factor of that, which hopefully they can do something with it. Now, one thing that, I was thinking the other night about this technology. There's a lot of things they could do with it. Imagine being connected to your smartphone. You could browse the internet just by thinking. You wouldn't have to be directly looking at your phone to do it. Another thing that I was thinking about is, people with like dementia.
Yeah.
There might be something that will unlock. The possibilities on this are kind of endless. So how do you feel about the technology?
I mean, it can be a good thing, and then you still got to think about. Look how glued we are to our stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
Smartphones. You constantly see people on it. They're always looking down at it. Do you? I don't know how much you mentioned on it, but do you think it'd be safe as far as somebody trying to use it while they're driving or something?
I think it's going to constantly be used, like constant. The one that worries me is honestly can it be hacked?
Yeah, that would be a big issue.
Because I think Elon had brought up actually something about driving where it's going to improve your senses. It's going to unlock certain areas of our brains where it's going to take us to the next level. But what are the fail-safes of it? Can it be hacked? Can people implant certain things in your brain that you don't want there?
All it would take is it just getting into the wrong hands, which, look how easy it is for people to sit there and hack our computers, our video game systems, stuff like that. So just imagine having something directly implanted into you that controls all your functions, controls everything,
Now, one thing that I was thinking on would say it gets beyond the point where it's like medical. Would you get something like this?
Part of me wants to say yeah, just because of the experience of it. But part of me does want to say no because there is that fail-safe of, like you said, what if somebody hacks you?
See, I'm a tech guy. I'd probably do it. Make your speech better. You imagine us doing videos like oh, we got to look something up real quick, and all of a sudden we do it in our head, and we just blah, 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 blah. You know, there's a lot of cool stuff that can come with this technology, and I'm hoping that the research is going to go somewhere. One of the people who was on one of the videos, he was talking about that they try not to use human tests, and I guess they were using a monkey. And one of the other guys in between, he was like, yeah, but the monkey can use a computer now. And the guy's like, that's not what I'm trying to get to. It made me laugh. They're trying to get to human testing soon, but imagine that if this technology is able to have a regular monkey use a computer.
What can it do for people?
Yeah, what could it do for us?
I mean, hopefully, as far as the medical aspect of it, I mean, if he can do this right, and you know, it does help somebody who haven't been able to use their legs because of some sort of accident, you know, that's a great benefit to, you know, mankind as far as the medical field goes. Now, we were talking about it earlier, and you had mentioned it's almost a step in like cyborgism, you know, like it. I mean, do you think if they did something like that, and you were talking about hacking, you know, what about, you always hear about the government or the military doing something, you know, shady to people. What about something like that?
I mean, I guess there would be at that risk. Honestly, though, I think it would more on the lines of something like that would be in military use. You never know. Something like that might happen. I do know that Elon he's working with a real good staff. He's working with specific surgeons, people in the medical field, people in, you know, all these tons of fields, and bringing them together to do this. You know, this is a subject I would really, really like our viewers to comment on. How do you feel about us particularly becoming more machine, more of an android? I mean, in a sense, we're almost what they call the perfect machines. Our brain is
it's constantly going, constantly learning.
But you know, if these will unlock it, how do you feel about that? Would you want to do it? You know, maybe you have somebody that has a medical issue that you would love to see that this help with that. You know, and if not, how do you feel about becoming, you know, Android? One thing Elon Musk brought up was we're basically already there. You know, with cell phones, having the internet right there. If you can find the information, it's on there.
Yeah.
So we're at that point where, you know, it's already an extension of us. We're just not having it physically put in us.
Now, speaking of cyborgs and androids and all that, is this something you would have to plug yourself into to charge constantly, or is it like, did he mention anything about, does it have a battery life, or does it just constantly keep going?
You know, that's one thing that I was trying to figure out. I want to say that the pack, there's a part of it, and I could be wrong on this, that will unplug, that you can charge.
Okay.
It said, you know, it would have the capabilities of, I could be wrong, it's like Bluetooth and stuff, all that. But, you know, there would have to be a way of charging it, unless they somehow figured out how they could use the human body
to
charge it. But I don't think it's quite that advanced. There'll probably be either like a piece or whatever that comes off and does it. Now, what's cool, the sensors that they showed was, and there's a piece that they remove. It's only like a little square on here. And that little square, they went from, think of it as being 10 microprocessors to 100 microprocessors that get put on specific points of the brain. and then those relay down to that receptacle in the back of the ear.
I mean, it sounds cool. It does. Yeah, let us know. Would that be something be interested in doing to yourself, or are you more, you're kind of worried about the long term and possible fail safes of it? Yeah, I mean, I guess it'd be something pretty cool to try, just to see.
We'll see. It might be one of those things where the wealthy people will get it first, and then the common folk will get it later.
We'll have the off-brand.
Yeah. And he said they're on the version 1 of it. And that version 1, like I said earlier, they've had this technology since the 50s. They basically improved that version, 1,000 times fold. So it's a definite leap in advance, and hopefully in human society. I'll keep tabs on this for future updates. Like, subscribe, comment, hit the bell for notifications. Tell us how you feel on this subject, because I really want to know and like to see what everybody else thinks. With that, this episode's done.
Thank you for stopping by again. We'll see you later.